Welcome to Totally Talent Podcast by HR.com, your go-to source for all things talent. Whether you're looking for expert insights on high-volume hiring, the latest trends in recruitment technology, or strategies for building a winning team, we've got you covered. Join us for each episode as we dive deep into the challenges and opportunities shaping the talent landscape today. Let's get started.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the newest edition of Totally Talent. I am your host, Mike Wood. I am brand new to the HR.com team, but I've known of HR.com for many, many years. And Deb McGrath is a wonderful person that I'm thrilled to be joining. And I'm thrilled to be bringing some great people on the Totally Talent podcast. I have Maury Hanigan with me today. Maury, do you want to take a second to introduce yourself?
Sure. I am CEO of SparcStart. We're a recruitment marketing platform that's video driven. Just my background, I actually started my career at Procter & Gamble in marketing and then Pepsi in marketing. So like I say, I'm a marketer by training and mindset. And we know from consumer packaged goods marketing how to persuade people, how to engage them. And it's not with paragraphs of text and bullet points. So you're going to find I'm a big video believer, and but I have a lot of data. It's not just my belief that it's effective. Lots of data around that. So that's pretty much where I spend my time and energy, is focused on how employers can use video to make their programs more effective and ultimately more efficient at the end of the day. So that's what I do.
I love it. I mean, we're doing a podcast right now with video included because people digest video now. It's almost table stakes. So I don't know if you have any data off the top of your head or whatnot, but I feel like
I'm a data junkie.
Okay, I feel like with, even with my kids aren't reading anything. They're, my friends aren't reading. Everything is video. Everything is short form video. Tell me, kind of like what research you have.
Well, the simplest number is that 84% of all internet traffic is video. 84%. And think about how you got information in the last couple of days. If you wanted to catch up on sports or the news or fashion, you wanted to see the red carpet the other night. The reality is you went and looked at video, because we all do. It's what we all, it's very seldom we'll go and look up a manual on how to fix something, right? We go to YouTube and watch a video on how to fix it. It's just, we learn best when we have words and pictures that match. And candidates are no different. If they want to learn about a job, if they want to learn about an organization, they don't want to read dry black and white text. They want to see people. They want to hear people. They want a sense for the environment. Gold standard is when they can actually see a video of their boss. It's one of the things the SparcStart platform does. We can put hiring manager video right into a job description. And so when you actually get to meet your boss, everything changes. It's not just a job description. Maybe I'll apply, maybe I won't. What's this job really like? It's all of a sudden, let's say they see you, Mike, and it's like, oh, it's a job with that guy. And they start to think, what would it be like to work for him? And they start to envision themselves in the job. And you've started recruiting them. As soon as they start to try on that job and see how it feels, you've started that process of them wanting to be part of the organization, part of the job. So it's a really effective way to get candidates interested. The other stat that I really love is when you include video in any job description, candidates spend more than twice as long on a page. And it's not just the time to watch the video. Once they've seen a video, let's say of their hiring manager, and they start to question, what would it be like to work for this person? Then they slow down and they actually start to read the job description. It's not they don't read it at all. It's somehow you just got to catch their interest, right? You need a hook that has them say, hey, really consider this job. And they start to read it. And when that happens, they do a better job opting in and opting out. They start to learn more about the job. If it's a job that, you're looking for a pediatric nurse for weekends and they can't work weekends, they've now read that, so they don't apply. So your recruiters don't spend time reaching out to someone who says, oh, no, I'm not available on weekends. Not a job I want. But when there is something that's a match, they've learned about it and they opt in. There was a really wonderful study done by the Sourcing Institute, Shelley Sheckard's organization, where they did a really beautiful, clean A/B test of almost 10,000 candidates. And half of them got, the regular outreach and half of them got a video. And the half that got the video had substantially higher numbers of candidates who made it through to the hiring manager interview, who made it through the assessments. You just had a higher quality candidate pool. And at the end of the day, that's what people want. It's not more candidates, it's more quality candidates.
Yeah, I think TA professionals sometimes they're so focused on trying to fill those seats that they forget that they're selling the job to somebody, and that making a job choice or choosing to work for a company, that's a big decision for people. And so, I mean, video has only kind of moved into these areas that are big decisions for people. Like I remember when I bought my house, when I was looking around at where am I going to, like that's the biggest purchase that probably I'm ever going to make. And if I didn't have a video view of the house, I'm not going to go look at it. I'm not going to spend my time to go and invest unless I can actually see what I'm getting into. And so I think that is just a really good way to show people what you're really about. And I think even with the next generation, so I think I was telling you off the show that I have a nephew that plays hockey, and he's 11, and all of him and his friends, they don't watch hockey games anymore. They watch highlights of hockey games on YouTube. And I feel like this is the way of the future. And someone's not going to sit for this whole thing. They're going to see little snippets of exactly what they want to do. We've seen in searches on Google, whatever, video just keeps going higher and higher in searches. I looked how to reattach my garage the other day, just really quickly. Instead of reading the manual, it was a lot quicker to just see a video of somebody showing me how to do it. And that's just the way of the future now. So what are the ways that you use video in your platform?
Well, SparkStart does several things. We have one product that just helps employers capture informal video, requesting video testimonials from employees, because it sounds like that's easy, right? You just ask somebody to record a video. And if you're a small organization, under 100 people in one location, yes, you can run around with your camera and you can film people and you can add a logo to it and you can share it on social and you can make it part of your outreach to candidates and so forth. But if you're a larger organization, if you're 1,000 people or you've got multiple locations, all of a sudden that's hard to do. And there's a reality that employers want to make sure that video is on message, it's appropriate, that somebody hasn't made a joke that's not funny. We had a situation recently where we heard of a company where one of their store managers was making informal videos as part of their employee advocacy, but they were reporting their store sales for the week and saying, hey, we had a great week. We were up. They were publicly traded, and that was insider information, which shouldn't have been, public. So there's a real, we really get frustrated when we see organizations that are being strangled by their legal and compliance people. There's not a need for that, but there is a need for guardrails, right? There's a need, particularly if you're in healthcare. You don't ever want to show a patient in the background or any of that kind of thing. So to do this well, you want to make sure that you've got the security in place so that you don't put out inappropriate content, but you want to make it easy so that you're not so constrained that all you ever produce is that 2-minute hero video, which you're going to be able to tell real quickly here. I'm not a big fan of the 2-minute hero video. We've actually taken some and swapped out the soundtracks and, the drone shot of the building and people writing on whiteboards. And we said, your company must be unique. You have whiteboards. You have people who write on them.
Wow. I'm so excited. How can I be a part of it?
Yeah, dying to do that. Walking through the front door of a big corporate thing. But what the video that's really compelling for employees is the video that comes across as credible and authentic, right? I know those are two overused words right now. You want your video to be good quality, but the closest you can get it to a friend sending a video that says, hey, I'm at the Wolf Alice concert. It's great, right? That's what you want your videos to feel like somebody that you know and trust is telling you, hey, I work at this place and I like my job. I like the people I work with. I feel good about my career opportunities. I feel good about the work environment. Those kinds of messages are really, really valuable and really powerful. So one of the things SparkStart will do is help you capture those videos so you can edit them, add logos, share them directly to social media, measure them, You can put hiring manager video into your job descriptions. We also make it easy to do employee advocacy programs. And I've chatted a little bit about that. Whenever you have employees share content, they tend to be connected to other people who have similar credentials to them, right? So if you're hiring, let's say, a cashier, it's likely they've worked in other places, partially as a cashier. They know friends who are cashiers. Nurses know other nurses. Engineers know other engineers. Engineers went to school with other engineers. They might have worked other places. They may have gone to conferences and know people. I say all the time, I'm connected to 9,000 people on LinkedIn, essentially all of them talent acquisition. So my LinkedIn connections are absolutely, target rich for anybody who wants to get a message in front of TA people. Well, that's true of anybody's employees. Their employees know other people who have similar education and experience and skills. So employee advocacies are really important, but you have to make it easy for employees. They already have full-time jobs. Sharing company content probably isn't one of them right now. But if you make it easy and you get them to share, it's really powerful.
Well, I think you've really hit on something with authenticity, and that people can spot, candidates can spot a corporate career site that's just whitewashed, or it's almost like if you were to have AI create one and just they're putting all the buzzwords on there or whatnot. I want to see what it's actually like. I want to hear someone who actually likes it, because no one's going to get in front of a video who hates working at the job. They'll find a reason to pass it on. But if you can get people that are willing to share their story, like, show me what it's like actually being.
Yeah, and we're big advocates of short videos. No one really wants to sit down and watch a 2-minute video, or heaven forbid, a 4-minute video, especially when they're in the process of just investigating jobs. We say all the time, the more a candidate goes through the process, the more invested they are and the longer a video they'll watch. So if they're about to interview with a hiring manager and you want to, have a 2 or 3 minute video that says, here's how we structure our interviews. Here's what we're looking for. Here's how to succeed at our interviews, or here's what to expect. They'll sit and watch 2 and 3 minutes at that point. But before they've made that commitment, if they're not even sure they want to apply to this job, they're not going to watch anything that long. So instead of, having an employee story that's their entire career, how they came to it, what they're learning, what their advancement looks like, that's probably too much at one bite. You're better off to put together 5 or 6 little snippets and let them go, hey, here's a training that I got last month at the company, and I learned how to do XYZ, or here's how I'm incorporating AI into my job, and here's how the company's supporting me. Those little snippets are really helpful. And as a body of work, they help candidates understand more about the organization because they consume them. Little bite sizes are really powerful.
Yeah, I mean, so if I'm applying for a job, I'm not only going to look up the company, I'm going to look up who works there. I'm going to look up who I'm interviewing with. And if I have actual video, like on my mobile, that I can go through, it's going to make that decision a lot easier on my part. So I mean, I don't know if you have any, I might be speaking a little bit, maybe 5 years ago or something, but I mean, almost everything is mobile now. I don't know if you have any research that just says that. I mean, I'll just throw it out there that I swear most traffic is coming mobile. And so you need to have, something that you can easily digest in the palm of your hand. Do you have any stats that you could throw at me?
Right. I've got so many stats. I won't bore you with all of them.
I never get bored with stats.
Yeah, but your listeners probably do. As data junkies can geek out here, but we'll be merciful. But the reality is, your mobile device was designed for video. It wasn't really designed to read documents on it. You can read a document. We all do. We read our email and things, but the devices were designed for video. And that's when you use that device best, is when you deliver content that really, shines on the device, rather than, oh, let me stretch this and blow it up and see if I can read this. That's not a great experience. But when you've got somebody that'll talk to you, when you get to see the environment, when you get to hear it, all of that, that's the best use. I sort of say all the time that when you match your candidate behavior and your tools, that's when you get the greatest impact and efficiency, right? When you've got a mismatch, when you're trying to use tools that can't, like, think about having a pager right now. Nobody uses a pager. Why would you spend any money on that at all? I sort of feel that way about paragraphs of text and bullet points. No one's consuming that. So when that's your primary way to communicate with candidates, you're not winning there. And some people go, oh, we have videos on our career site. Only 7% of all candidates visit the home pages of career sites. Almost all of them, whether they're linking through Indeed or whatever, they're getting to a job, they're generally going to the job posting page and then they bounce. So 92.5% of all candidates only go to a specific job posting page on your career site and then they bounce. So first and foremost, you want to put the video there because that's where their eyeballs are. But then you also want to make it specific to what they're doing. If somebody's looking at a job in your accounting department, they're not so interested in a video from somebody in sales, right? The sales environment's probably different than the accounting environment. So the more you can customize it, it really does talk to the need to have a really robust video library. And again, you don't have to make these things formally produced. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money, but you do have to put some time and effort into thinking about the content that you want to have available that will address candidates' information needs and do it in a way that they'll actually consume it.
I think it's probably more authentic if it isn't produced professionally. If it's more of, someone in my organization that's holding their phone out saying, why don't you take a tour of the office with me? This is my team. If you were to take this job, this is who you'd be working with. This is Sharon. This is Debbie here. Let's, this is what it's actually like working here. And
that stuff is gold. Absolutely gold. Yep.
I mean, we all see those videos that, yeah, we all see those videos that are like, clearly they're using stock footage of people looking at, I see them all the time in terms of like, political ads and stuff where it's like the construction worker that's shaking his head while looking at something and pointing and, it's all fake. And so like, I think people are more attuned to, seeing that type of thing, especially with AI, that you can spot fake. And if they're going to fake me out on a video about working there, what is it really going to be like working there?
Right, exactly. If you the idea of using stock photography, these aren't even your real employees. If you start the relationship with a candidate by not even being honest about who works there, why are you surprised when you've got all sorts of turnover? It really does work. One of my favorites is a picture of people, pointing at computer screens. Like, how often do
everybody
two people
does that
get together and point at the computer screen? Yeah. That's dreadful. But a lot of people go, oh, well, we need. People will say we need good quality video, and the reality is the camera on your phone today is incredible quality. It really is on par with professional equipment. So it's not like if you record something on your phone, it's going to be grainy or the audio is going to be bad. One time, some things we do recommend is people get lavalier mics and plug them into your phone because the microphone on your phone is designed really to pick up sound from, an inch from your mouth. But the video quality is absolutely through the roof. It's terrific.
Now, let's say like I'm a TA professional and I just started at an organization that's a little bit behind the times and they're a little bit of a dinosaur and I'm looking to kind of get started and make the case for this. What is the best way to kind of get started down this path? It's a loaded question.
Move to another company that's more enlightened.
Yeah, realize your mistake.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people ask us all the time, do you have any data on video being more engaging than text? And I say we do, but no, if we need to start with the very premise that video is engaging, your management, they shouldn't need to be, these moving, talking picture things, they're not a fad. They're here to stay. Movies are a real thing. If you've got to do that kind of base level education, it's going to be a challenge to really do really good quality work. but I would start with creating some video, keep it very short, keep it very focused. Make sure you have a real measurable goal in mind. We talk all the time, particularly with things like employee advocacy programs. There are a lot of people who want to look at the vanity metrics. How many impressions did I get? How much engagement did I get? And we really encourage people to look at the business metrics. How many employee referrals did you get? How many, what was your conversion of people who clicked on your job and converted to actually applying to the job? What was your offer accept rate? What are the pieces in your program that you want to strengthen? Start there and come up with, A, know your base data, know where you're starting. B, give yourself a reasonable goal, and C, put a time frame on it. And then see, can you use video? Is it video that's being sent to people who have applied to tell them a little bit more about the job? Are you having people drop out of your process? Do you have people who are ghosting you? We saw a great example of it was a trucking company that, were desperate for sales drivers. They'd get them, they'd hire them. And on the first day of work, they had, large numbers that never showed up. So they sent videos that just introduced them to the dispatcher, introduced them to other drivers. So the drivers felt like they knew a couple people, they'd had some familiar faces, and it made a huge difference. So there was a very specific problem they set out to solve and used video to solve it. That's where I'd recommend somebody start. Don't just create video because you want to create video. Really look at where can I move the needle here? What's going to make a difference so that management is going to sit up and go, oh, can you do that again? Can you do that over here? Have a very specific goal in mind, and then figure out what content is going to move the needle, who's the most credible person to deliver that content, and then how do you distribute it? And then get the SparcStart platform so we make that all easy with one click.
Well, that's great. Well, that kind of this has been a wonderful conversation. I've loved getting to know you a little bit more. And so if people want to get started, where can they find you and where do they go? I'm assuming SparcStart.com.
Well, first, by all means, reach out to me at LinkedIn. I accept invitations from everybody in the industry. I love connecting with people. You can also go to SparcStart.com. It's SparcStart.com. We have things like an ROI calculator there that's not gated. You can go into it, plug in your numbers, play with the values, get a sense of what your earned media value can be. We've got lots of resources you can download. We've got a video strategy framework ebook that you can download to get you started. We have a lot of resources. We really want to help the whole industry get better at this. So feel free to reach out to me personally. Feel free to take advantage of the resources on the SparcStart website.
Well, thank you, Maury. I look forward to seeing you in person again at some point at one of the many events. And our listeners out there, I hope to be at a bunch of different events. I'm going to be at HR West next week, and then Transform, and I'll be at RecFest in the fall, and definitely HR Tech. So looking forward to meeting the community and doing all I can to help them. So thanks, Maury, and you have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to the Totally Talent podcast by HR.com. We hope you find today's episode insightful and inspiring. Don't forget to explore more episodes and discover valuable resources at hr.com/podcasts, where you can listen to all of our podcasts. Until next time, keep leading with purpose and making a difference in the world of talent.